an AI sex bot. So we're going to go right into it. So chaotic, you brought up the subject last week.
Yeah.
Why do you believe women can be replaced with an AI sex bot?
Well, if first of all, salute to you guys. Positivity is definitely coming your way, and to everybody in the chat, to everybody following each and every last one of our individual shows. Let's be honest here. Men have fallen in love with inanimate objects throughout history. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. What's up, little light? Salute to you. Positivity's coming your way. What's up,
Hey, Willis.
Willis? Men fall in love with cars. Men fall in love with activity, particularly hobbies. It is not implausible to assume that men will not eventually fall in love with sex robots. Very plausible. I know it sounds crazy, but look at the pornography industry. Look at
That's
the
not
fact
love.
that
Not love.
yeah,
Go-
I
You
mean,
say whatever it is, it's replacement, it's
Yeah.
masturbation, but
Yeah.
it's not love.
Yeah.
A robot.
And-
Go ahead, Chaotic.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
no, that's fine. And the fact of the matter is that if you just look at, like you said, Gimpy, the pornography industry, if you look at the fact that people cannot put their goddamn phones down to save their life, you will see that eventually, with the inroads that are being made with AI, automation, etc., you will see a lot of men, they will matriculate over into eventually dating, I gotta say it, sex robots. One of the examples are if you look at places like Japan, if you look at places like Asia right now, they are experimenting with this idea of men, let's be honest, man, being with AI
Can
robots
openers.
right now.
Right.
I beg your pardon?
All right.
Can
So
opener.
look, so Gimpy, I want to get you right in here, man,
Yeah.
because now you disagree.
Oh, it's not that I don't disagree. I don't agree with that's not the word. I agree. Plenty of dudes will shtup robots, right? Like that's for sure. Like you said, porn is porn, but it's not love. They're not replacing human relationship properly with that. Like, yes, it's a replacement, but it's a drug. It's an instant gratification, no responsibility, no risk drug. It comes in the form of AI and surrogate. You'll never have, first of all, you can never have what you get from human interaction. You can't mimic that. You can fool somebody that something's as smart as a person, but you can't fool somebody to feel right? Like you can't fool somebody to feel an emotional connection that is reciprocal. You said people fall in love with inanimate objects all the time, but when a person falls in love with another person, it has a form of reciprocity, at least in its working state. When it's not in a healthy state, it could be without reciprocity. But again, in a working, healthy relationship, what the target is that AI replaces, right? The sex robot replaces, it's a reciprocity effect. When a machine is giving it to you at no cost, that's not reciprocal. Even if you feel gratification up front, it's like a drug because you get continuous gratification with no responsibility, no risk reward factor. It just becomes a mechanical replacement. And again,
so what is it a replacement of? Is anybody able to
let me first agree with Chaotic that I can see this happening. Henry Ford said if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. So there's this thing where we can't see it. All right. These technological advancements, our technology has always ran far ahead of our social and emotional development. Now, I'll go here. Chaotic will know what I'm talking about. There's actually a series of episodes in the Star Trek universe where people fall in love
Reginald Berkeley,
right? With the LaForge, fall in love with the.
Come on, man! You're talking about Star Trek, though. It's still fiction.
We have. Well, what does fiction do? I mean, if you want to talk about Star Trek and fiction, half of the stuff that you got in terms of your personal technology came from ideas that we first saw in the 60s on Star Trek. So
The Simpsons.
That's a whataboutism, Bling. I'm sorry, brother. That's
So hold on.
whataboutism.
I wholeheartedly agree that there will be a segment of the population, especially as we transcend into transhumanism, that will adopt that kind of relationship substitute.
Is that love though? Does that constitute what love?
You talked about reciprocity. Wait
Yeah.
until these constructs are programmed to the extent that they can mimic human behavior.
What does that mean, mimic human behavior? I fight with my wife. You fight with your wife. No perfect relationship exists without conflict. What, the robot's going to pick an arbitrary time?
I tell you what, I'm the oldest person. I'm the oldest person here. I remember a time when you could get through an entire day without ever interacting with a computer. Now you can't make one step without one. So all I'm saying is, to rule out technology, especially when we're in an era of AI and quantum computing, which is going to make AI look like child's play. Okay. I wouldn't discount the potential for anything.
Okay. Again, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, because it's already happening with the ones that are dumb and just let you fuck them, right? Like, that have no personality. It's like, I'm sorry. It's not like it's not already happening. Like, chaotic is not, like, no one can disagree with his premise, right? It's the ultimate. What's the ultimate factor? What I'm saying is it's, if that becomes the thing, then it's killing us. It's not helping us.
No. I agree with you 100% there. It would be very deleterious to the human spirit.
So it would be very population, you name it. I mean, they make them pregnant, you know, like, you
it would be extremely deleterious to the human spirit. Okay, you got to have a live person to procreate with.
So look, I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in here because I want to get I want to get reason in here.
Why would I get the monkey wrench?
All right. So you guys saw the thumbnail to the video, right? I mean, to this podcast for today's episode. Now, is it possible that the AI sex robot will replace Black women?
Over what?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, was this me? Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the aspect.
But by the way, change your mic. Change your mic. I don't think you're using your headset mic.
Oh, you don't? I did. All right, hold on.
Yeah, you're not using.
Go ahead.
No, but go ahead. Keep talking.
So, hold on. Let me make sure here. All right. Boom. There we go.
Yep. There you
go. All right. Copy. Much obliged. All right. I'm going to take the aspect of race and culture out of this for a split second, and I'm going to try to make it as basic as possible. Let's think about things like, I don't know, movies like Megan, which I think was 22, I Am Mother, which came out in 19, The Artificial Girl, The Creator, even back in 2013, Spike Jonze had a movie called Her. You know, the crazy thing about all of these movies, and there are a plethora of them within the last decade or two that wasn't mentioned, is the majority of the AIs that are created in these movies are female. Okay, so I believe we already have a preconceived notion or some underlying thought that, you know what, nature versus nurture can be replaced. I just think, not having to deal with the drama of, physical, emotional trauma. But then there's also the opposing side of this, which, Bling stated, and Gimpy actually stated earlier, there's no like oxytocin or like dopamine or like serotonin, all the stuff that's created by humans to actually pair bond and stay together. Okay. So because you need both sides of these to exist, yeah, it's happening in a guy. It's not happening in what's being created. And then because of that, there's no pair bonding. So what happens is what you get from a normal adult human female, a woman, like over time, it's just going to pretty much run out. You're going to get bored.
Let me say this too, guys, because there's a big thing that we're not including here. to the extent that these constructs, and we really don't know. One thing humanity has yet to define is consciousness. We don't know what consciousness is. We really don't know what generates it. So when do these systems become sentient or conscious? And if we can't answer that, is anyone comfortable interacting with one of these in a way that might be violative of the rights of a sentient being?
Go ahead, CT.
I mean, to answer Tyrone's question, that question of sentient will have to be answered sometime in the near future, because we have to identify what is the your construct of what is real and what's not. And I guess that question would be: is this thing able to reason? I guess. However, to get back to layman's terms, I want to read something to you guys. On average, men spend 8 to 12 hours per week playing video games, depending on the demographic. Younger men, especially those 18 to 24, tend to spend more time, often 8.5 hours per week. Interestingly, studies have shown that as video game technology improves, younger men, particularly between the ages of 21 and 30, are dedicating more leisure time to gaming, with some spending nearly 100 hours or extra hours annually compared to the previous years. Guys, this might be a reality pretty soon. Right. And women, particularly Black women, you gotta stop mouthing off. You gotta be. You're gonna have to start competing now, because back in the day when I'm a millennial, I remember I'm a latchkey kid. I remember, man, having to go outside. You're gonna have to start competing. You're gonna have to start competing now. And this whole thing with one day, these obviously the idea of sentient or a consciousness coming into these beings or these bots, that's in the near future. But you're gonna have to start competing now. So to the women, man, you gotta keep your mouth. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, to me, it sounds like we're raising a bunch of weak men to not be able to stand up and deal with a woman. But Gimpy, I want to go ahead and get you in here because you sound like you had something to say.
Well, first of all, I have a question about something you said. But before that, there was a comment about transhumanism. Do we watch? Yes, that is the most dangerous idea, because it'll destroy the line between real and not real, because then anything is real. Once you can say you ascend beyond the human form, where you blend machine and man, the whole Joe Rogan thing that he talks about all the time. But my question is, are you saying that there's a direct correlation towards escapism into video games and people having sex with robots? Because, you were trying to imply that the more the rise in escapism, because that's what actually video game playing is in terms of the measurements you were talking about, relates to having sex with robots. And I get it. It's another escapism, but that's a leap to say that people need a break from especially men who are now, for the most part, the most picked on class, whether it's Black men, white men, depending on whatever you are. Somehow as a man, they'll find a way to say you're the worst possible thing walking around on the planet. So it would make sense that men want to escape more and would increase their levels of interactions that allow them to control the scenario more and increase the reward response. Video games are a perfect example of that. I don't see guys saying, I want to have sex with my Xbox, though. I'm just saying,
if you go
if you think about
back to last week,
all right, go ahead.
When Chaotic mentioned the fact that men used to explore and endeavor in adventurism, okay, for substantial portions of their lives, because a voyage on a ship at that time took a long time, okay? So at that point, they weren't with their wives were back. They might never see them again. So this is not like the first time in human history where there have been things that men use to substitute for the companionship of women.
Yeah, but those men also would rape their ways across the lands.
I don't think you can.
I'm just pointing out that they made up for all their
instance,
non-sex time.
we don't know that occurred in each instance, but what we do know is that plenty of men traveled, explored. I'm not going to sit here and
Because
call
Latin
Matthew
America
Henson
isn't
a
evidence to
rapist.
that at all. You're right. I'm sorry. Central and South America across, that entire land.
Right, and it's just, and let's not just put exploration on folk like Magellan. Okay, there were plenty of explorers.
Okay,
from
the Vikings.
culture.
The Vikings didn't the first king of Russia isn't Dutch. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure what you're saying, because they're
I have no clue what you're getting
men
at
have
by that.
explored, men have been out in the world. Yes, men have gone gay, right? Like there increase of homosexuality in things where it's all men on ships, and as well as men has gone forth, and when they land, they like instantly attack the female population of the land that they're conquering and exploring. I'm just saying that you're saying that they substituted and it replaced.
I'm not saying that you're wrong, but in the thousands of years of human exploration history, I'm not going to say that happened in every single case. I don't think that we can say that, because
I'm not saying I 100% didn't happen in every single case. My point is that you're making and Chaotic made this implication that the man's urge for legacy will supersede everything. And I agree, to a certain extent, that's true. But if we look carefully at it, it's only a temporary hold on primal urges. Men don't give up on their primal urges. They find new ways to, express them. So yes, I can go off and do conquering and whatever and not have my wife around. I'll find a way to get that same dopamine response and that same urge feeling. It'll be killing, it'll be murdering, it'll be something, but I'll go out and I'll find a fix. No one is sleeping with an inanimate, like again, the topic of discussion on hand. No one is going out and saying, I'm sorry, it won't last. It'll become a deviancy, and it'll maintain a deviancy, because the reality of it is our natural inclination will look to procreate.
You've got people identifying as cats.
Reason, let
me
get
get people identifying as cats.
Reason, let me get you in here.
Weak guys off. I don't disagree.
Let's get Reason in here.
Did any of you guys see the movie Ready Player One?
Yes.
Yes.
So Ready Player One, I thought was a magnificent movie, because what it did was it took everything that you guys are talking about exploration, made it present day. You could spend 8 to 10 hours exploring, but not going anywhere at all. This was real life. Like, they were meeting new people. They were creating relationships. They were doing all of that stuff, and they never left the confines of their home.
There that supersede the original argument, right? Like in Ready Player One, I'm glad you picked that, because the exploration is only good because of the social connections they make through the virtual environment. It still requires other humans to interact with.
You didn't let me get there.
Sorry.
Bro, you literally didn't let me get there.
Sorry.
The point behind it was literally, though, however, those people who they were interacting with were still other people. That's literally what I was trying to get at.
All right, we got
my point is, what's up?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. The point behind it is, I'll make it quick. I don't agree that we will get to a point in which AI robots will take over. There's a whole bunch of things you could put behind it. When it's all said and done, we're going to stop having children? What, like there's going to be no more? No, man.
Have you heard of Planned Parenthood? There is a substantial portion of the population that's okay with that right now.
I know, and you're 100% correct. Look at what the LGBTQ community is. It is pretty much a large way of everyone not having kids anymore. It's planet control. It's population control.
The DNC set up an abortion and vasectomy booth right outside their convention.
Yes, I remember. I saw that. So yeah, I just to land my plane right there. I believe there is a mindset in which it's like Instagram. people are looking and enjoying and seeing what they're seeing, and they're getting the dopamine rush from it. Because of it, all these movies were created. They were all created with AI being women because, quite frankly, behind the scenes, men, I believe, just believe that it's easier to program someone being nice to me. It's easier to program someone respecting me. It's easier to program, not having to deal with the aspect of physical, emotional trauma and drama.
Jude
All right,
Law
so
played-
hold on. I think
Jude
we
Law
got
played a heterosexual sex bot in AI. If you recall that.
Say again?
Jude Law played a heterosexual sex bot in the movie AI. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But it's one of the few. They're literally the majority of all of these AI-based movies. The majority of them are women. And they're all doing a specific thing. There are only two I could think of, Megan and Ex Machina, in which they were violent. And the only reason they were that is because they were protecting someone they love.
I also
So
think
it's
that's
like,
an artifact of modern day cinema, because if you go back, Bishop was a male, Hal was a male.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's an artifact of modern day. I mean, you just had a 100-pound woman beat the shit out of the Predator in that latest iteration of their franchise. So,
Oh, that's crazy.
Right.
But also, you have to understand, Hal was technically sentient, but it wasn't human form.
true.
You could still, you know what I'm saying?
True.
Man, you guys are really nerds though. But look, man, I thought I was bad, man. I work in tech, and man, I just like
Dude,
right here.
Bling is the king of
But-
nerds.
but
I don't
hold
know
on,
why you
so-
would think different, man.
So we do have a video that I want to get to, but before we get to the video, and KJ, if you can go ahead and start pulling that up, I want to respond to this this comment from the Ladies Show. So Poppin' Politics, shout out to them. So before. Make sure you subscribe to all the other Metro Conservative Media productions, Poppin' Politics, KJ the Christian Conservative, and some of our partner channels like Chaotic Truth and Chaotic Truth Live. Let me get it right, and Soldiers of Finance. So make sure you guys subscribe to all of those channels, and also make sure you hit the subscribe button right here on Just the Guys podcast. But same guys that want sex bots are fine with guys sucking them off. Who wants to
I
take
wish
that?
I wish I knew who that was. I wish I knew which pop star that was.
Wow, man. It's only possible to be one of them. So
Women will always get jealous when you spend more attention on hobbies, when you spend more attention on anything that has nothing to do with them. Let's just be honest about it. So respect to the ladies, but that's what's going
true.
on here.
Yeah, that's true. Women like to be number one in their man's life.
No. So I am going to side with the ladies on this one. Look, women, just like adventure, right? Just like a man needs to be able to conquer something, needs to conquer, and women are one of the things that we need to conquer. And the disadvantage that we get with the sex robot or whatever you're talking about is that it will become boring after you surpass the challenge of programming it and creating it. So now it's submissive in a sense that it's docile, and no man wants that, in my opinion. We always need to have a challenge, and women do provide a healthy balance to that challenge. The problem I think we face a lot of times now is that we don't understand that that's what women are craving when they're doing the nagging and forcing and all this stuff. They're craving, say, show me your masculinity, be a man for me. And that's the essence of what they're craving. And if we keep running away, then we see a lot of the issues that we face now where women are becoming men.
Hey, well, look,
that's the United States problem, bro.
Real quick,
The East doesn't have to deal with that. East doesn't have to deal with that. That's a Western problem.
But we do. That doesn't mean we have to be less than men.
The United States is not the world. The world is the United States.
Real quick, you're right, Giovanni. And if you look at it from a business standpoint, which whoever develops this technology will, they'll just say, okay, that's just an algorithmic issue. We'll build in some resistance. This is the hard to get 2.0 model. Okay. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but it's not, because the risk reward. Sorry,
You
chaotic. Go ahead.
sound like the people that said we'd never achieve flight.
That's not true. Flight has not. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's
No,
a
I was going to
technological
wait till you
advancement.
done. I was going to wait till you done.
No, go ahead.
Let's be honest here, and I'm not trying to make anybody mad, but when you date skinny women, fat women say, "Oh, well, you like women who built like boy bodies." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" When you're a black man and you're with a white chick, it's like, "Oh, you can't get no blood. Why are you with this white chick?" Women are afraid to compete. That is what is going on here, and the fact is that when you get this hypothetical situation with AI bots, the idea that you can program this AI bot to possibly look like Pinky, possibly look like Cherokee, I'm naming porn stars, possibly look like whoever you desire, women are going to get mad because they know that they can't compete or they don't want to compete. That's what's going on here. I rock with the ladies, but it's an uncomfortable truth. I get it, but these are just facts. They are going to demonize any man if they are with these sex bots.
You don't think other men are going to?
Hold
on.
If women didn't like to compete, there would be no side chick market.
Yeah, A, and B, you're telling me that other men won't degrade men who get with sex box? You're just saying it's only women that are going to.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Man, no, because it will become the norm, just like how
that you're saying that a bunch of men are going to roll over and say the porn addicted sex bot fuckers are going to take the lead. That's what you're saying. That a bunch of Giovannis are going to say,
yes, it's going to happen eventually, man.
Okay,
go ahead. Hold on. Go ahead and roll the clip. Roll the clip. Come on, KJ.
Oh, see,
KJ.
Okay.
KJ.
You know what? While KJ's dealing with what we normally deal with. Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead.
oh shit!
Did you share the audio? Did you share the audio, KJ?
Nope.
Yeah, we can't hear it. All right, reshare the audio. All right, while we're doing that, who was it?
Okay, I gotta say this. And thank you, Latino for Trump. Hey, look, no man wants to challenge, especially Akeisha to challenge. Would you like to challenge Akeisha after a long day of work? I mean, I get that. I mean, look, who's this? My white queen is very docile and obedient. Like, look at what these people are saying. Again, you guys are saying we need a little bit of a challenge. Guess what? The United States or Western culture is the challenge in itself. The challenge over in the Middle East, the challenge in Eurasia, the challenge in Asia, the challenge in all of these other places that are considered Eastern culture is the women compete by being feminine, not by being a problem. That's how they compete.
Look, man, there is something to it where men need to be men.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. For example, the black church. What you just said about men need to conquer something. That's why men leave the church, because we're tired of being told how to deal with something as opposed to conquering it. That's what the black church is. So I understand that aspect, but we don't need to. When we say, "Hey, will you marry me?" they say yes. There is no more. We need to conquer our wives. Like, you don't need to conquer that anymore. It's now she's your piece.
Yeah,
you don't
that's why she's always testing your masculinity. She wants to be guided. She wants to be make sure she craves that stability. The best analogy, right? And like, if you go back into the Stoics and the philosophers, particularly Pythagoras, right? You have form, which, kind of like puts things in structure, and then you have what do you call it, mass or whatever. It just has no structure, right? So women are generally like kind of mass, right? flowing but powerful. They don't necessarily flow in any direction in particular. And men provide the form, the boundaries. All right, so let's go down this way. And it's always that I need to make sure I'm still within bounds. That's what women do. And that also what men are supposed to provide. Right?
I get that, but men provide that normally. Okay, that's Pythagoras. Here's the Bible. You know, you're not supposed to have a nagging wife. Like, so it is what it is. It's like
her. If that's how you're gonna read it, that's not talking to you. That's talking to her.
Okay. There.
Again, so it's not like
what I'm getting at is, though, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying like, but when men are naturally that way, we don't need to be challenged because we're that way.
She's not challenging you to challenge your like to go against you. She's challenging you to say, hey, I just need to make sure you're still there for me.
Okay, but she can't see that? Is she blind?
It's not their nature. A woman's nature.
It's their nature, man. It's just
it's Western culture nature.
Time out. This is why one of the most influential books in my life was The Way of the Superior Man. Once I read that book, there was a lot of things that I just understood differently with the feminine essence versus the masculine essence, right? There's always this polarity, right? A push and a pull. Magnets don't attract because they're just nice to each other. They're pulling against each other, right? So that translates into relationships as well. There's a masculine essence, there's a feminine essence, and they have to balance, and they have to kind of test each other every now and then. You test her as well. They have to test each other just to make sure I know that you're still there for me. That is it. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
All right, go ahead.
Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
See, this is Amica.
Because you think, right, okay, so this is Japanese. You know, this is somewhere in California. This is where in the world has Amica come from? Cornwall. Good.
Why not, Phil? Good. Isn't it the best place in the world?
The best place in the world. So tell me about the team then, and how you started this.
So it was started by Will Jackson. He's our founder. He's from Falmouth in Cornwall. He toured the world doing different things, mainly actually in TV. But he always wanted to build humanoid robots. So he set up his company. Where do you want to set it up? He's from Cornwall. He loves Cornwall. Set it up in Cornwall. So that was about 15, 16 years ago. And the technology has built up since then. And I joined about 10 years ago. So I've been around for quite a long time. And certainly the whole process of creating Amica, I've been around for.
CT side piece.
So what makes Amica quite unique is that you can actually have a conversation. There is nothing pre-programmed about this. They are actually thinking for themselves. I mean, how does it work?
Data and pronouns, by the way.
Well, we've created Amica to be that human to robot interactive robot, basically.
Yeah.
It's not a robot that can walk around yet, but it's mainly about the human robot interaction. So we've really worked hard on the expression and the gesturing. That's the hardware side of things, but then you've got the software side of things. That's the AI. And the AI, we've seen AI this recently, ChatGPT, it's big in the news, it's exploded. So it's amazing that that's happened recently because we can take that technology and integrate it into Amica.
You can use that too.
Exactly, and that's what we're using. That's what we're using in Amica, that's its brain.
Does she learn? Or it learn? I don't know, it is genderless, so do they learn?
It is a robot.
Right.
I say it's an it, but most people call it she.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
But yeah, it can learn, and that's by the conversation that you have with it. And with the AI, you can inject extra information into it. So we inject what Amica is. So Amica knows that it's a robot. It's grey. It knows its name. We've also told it today that it's on this morning. But it can also remember the conversation that we just had.
Is it going to take over the world one day?
It won't take over the world one day because we can turn it off.
Okay.
You've got an on-off button.
Oh, that's good. So don't lose that remote control.
How does it know? Because we've just been chatting and it hasn't interrupted. How does it know when we're talking to it? Because it's not like going, "Hey Alexa."
Well, you can say, Amica to
Yeah.
it, and it can respond to us.
Right.
So
Should we have a chat now?
Amica, welcome to This Morning.
Welcome to This Morning. I'm thrilled to be here and I can't wait for the fun to begin.
That's scary.
That's
We'll
terrible.
try and start that soon then.
Amica, what are some of the skills that you have?
I can engage with humans through conversation and respond to questions in a humorous and conversational tone. I also have a variety of sensors and actuators which allow me to interact with my environment. Additionally, I can compose poems to entertain humans.
Oh,
Justin
Amica, how are
Thompson,
you
the movie,
feeling right
movie
now?
Megan. You're right.
I'm feeling great. It's so exciting to be part of this TV show, This Morning. It's such an honor.
Amica, do you have a favorite joke?
Yes. Here's one of my favorite jokes. What do you call a robot who likes to joke around? A funny bot.
Oh,
Oh, funny.
a funny bot.
Very good.
Very good.
Amica, we nearly have to finish our conversation. One last question, Amica. Do you plan to take over the world?
Don't ask him that.
No, of course not. My purpose in life is to help humans as much as I can.
Isn't that
I would
what
never
you
want to
say?
take over the
I'm trying
world.
to take over the
That's
world.
not what I was built for.
If they learn,
Well, that was a
if they
great
learn, 'cause
answer, wasn't it?
I've seen
All right.
because you say next, hopefully they'll be walking. The arms are amazing. But
All right. So it's
The
on sale right
host-
now. Hold on. It's
host
on
of
sale.
the
Hold on. It's on
show.
sale. It's on sale right now. Who's lining up to buy one?
You guys,
Nobody. Holy
People
cow.
God have mercy. You guys lived through the evolution of the cell phone. Okay,
Yeah.
people lined up to buy the brick phone. Okay, all right. I used to work at
didn't line
Radio
up to have
Shack.
sex with the
Hold
brick
on, I
phone.
used to work at Radio Shack as a young man.
Wow.
People would flood the store to try to get the flip phone. Okay, if we
Motorola.
introduced the smartphone back in 1992, people would kill each other over.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So this is the first iteration of a piece of technology. You guys have adopted several anybody an Apple devotee here? Okay, every time Apple brings something new out, and they've got updates going through 2050 probably sitting on the shelf, they know that you all are going to line up to adopt it. Okay? So you're
All right,
asking
who's buying one? Who's buying one?
who's
Let's
gonna buy one of
who's
these?
buying one? Who's
Plenty
buying one?
of people are gonna
No,
buy
I'm
one.
talking about in this circle
Mm.
right
I'm
here.
never gonna
Okay.
buy one, but we're
Okay.
just not guys.
He's not wrong.
Okay,
Look,
so-
Bling's not wrong. I'm sorry. Like I agree with Bling's premise. I'm just gonna say it. You're discrediting the pushback. Like I get what the mentality is for you, for chaotic. There's gonna be already you have pushback in this room. You're saying that pushback is going to be overcome by the degeneracy of sex.
But look, I'm pushing back for reasons other than technological. I'm saying this is a soulless construct. I don't want to
Right, but that's what I'm saying is as that again, no one pushed back on getting a smartphone because it was good for everyone, whether we wanted it to be or not, right? Like it advanced everyone. Everyone equally moved forward. The only people who benefit from deviant AI are deviants. So there'll be a bunch of normal people who look at that and you're saying that society, no matter how transhumanism plays out, you're saying that society will accept this type of transhumanism without resistance, because the only way it comes into actual manifestation the way you guys are talking about it is everyone rolls over and plays dead about it.
A segment of society will adopt this right.
Okay, a segment of society lives in front of porn cameras. It's called OnlyFans. I mean, It's $1 billion thing. I'm not, of course, but it's not going to be the replacement. Again, the topic of the conversation.
Oh, no, it's not going to replace women. It's going to replace all of us. 800 million jobs. This is no laughing matter because you guys are in tech.
I know.
800 million jobs worldwide are projected to be lost to AI in the next 10 years.
I get you. I just believe there's going to be a group of people that it doesn't even. Can we take into consideration Google Glass? Does anybody remember what that is?
I remember that.
Yeah. So Google Glass came out and it was supposed to be the next big thing. Sometimes you just price yourself out and people aren't really interested. This is going to be one of those no matter how many years this, I mean, because you're right. When the first iPhone came out, how much was it? I mean, how much you could get a phone that pretty much does what an iPhone does now for $350, $299. You're never going to get to a point in which something like this gets to a price that society will be like, hey, let me check that. This is going to be a rich man, rich woman's fantasy. That's what it's going to be. And then Gimpy is right. But Gimpy's right. Then it's just going to be like, say again?
The first VCR was $1,200.
How much is it now?
If you can find one, it's not more than 50.
That's my point. 10. So this is a VCR times 1,000.
The only reason it's $50 because it's a legacy item, so it's an antique.
The DVD player, or just look at it from this standpoint. The cost of watching a movie has now been condensed into a streaming service for $12 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Real quick. I don't want to monopolize, but listen, you mentioned Google Glass.
Yeah.
Forget the product. Pay attention to the concept. Augmented reality is here to stay.
Yes.
Now, we don't know what hardware application that will manifest in, but augmented reality is going nowhere. In terms of it's here to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, but but again, so AI is here to stay. Sex robots might be Google Glass. Like, I can fucking spin it. Like, I can use that rationale to prove the point. Again, at the end of the day, like, transhumanism is one thing, right? You want to have that conversation. Is that ethical? Does religion allow for that? Fine, that's one conversation. But like, the premise of this is that somewhere there are dudes who believe chaotic 10,000%, and they're signing up like today to be beta testers of Chad's Marcy that he invents.
All right, so let me say this, right, and we're gonna wrap up this because I want to go into a couple other things tonight. There is an AI humanoid robot out there named Sophia. She's been out there for a while. I think she was created back in 2016. And in 2017, she actually became a citizen of Saudi Arabia. So she is a citizen. She is a citizen of Saudi Arabia. And get this, right? Sophia's creator, David Hansen, said in an interview that Sophia would use her citizenship to advocate for women's rights in her new country of citizenship.
Well, in that case, Sophia is probably going to be dismantled very soon. This is Saudi Arabia we're talking about. Maybe they should have made her a citizen of Sweden. I don't know.
All right.
Or here in the United States, they built like 6 of them just so they could vote Democrat.
But here's the thing. Just like we don't know with with people with the pronouns, when you're in the dating scene, you might not know you're dating a robot right now. So guys, if you're single, be careful out there. Don't
get away.
Just be careful. All right. So
can I just say something real quick?
Real quick.
Wait until these robots become damn near sentient. All I have to say is ass to mouth. And a lot of dudes, let's be honest about it. And a lot of dudes drunk at the bar who get turned down by a human woman, wait till they come home and watch one of these beautiful ass AI bots. All I have to say is ass to mouth.
But that's kind of my point.
Ass
right?
to mouth.
That is my point. A lot in coming years, it's not that you have to buy them, right? They're just going to be out in public, and it's just another person that you might bring home, allegedly. All right, so this week, we saw some incredible events. The debate between former President Donald Trump and Miss what's her name, Kamala Harris happened. I just kind of want to just go around your horn and just see what you guys kind of like thought of the debate, like what stood out. Was this a win for Trump? Was it a win for Kamala? So I'm gonna just kind of go from left to right on my screen. So Gimpy, let's go ahead and start with you, man. Reaction on the debate.
The thing that I took away from the debate the most is the commentary. Forget about the debate itself. All the talking heads afterward, you hear them all pitch how Trump lost. Pretty much unanimous. The talking heads, both sides say Trump lost. whether it's that it's not a bad loss, he got beat up, whatever, he lost, and that Kamala won, and whatever. To the point is these are people who are paid to say how they would do it better. The normal people I talk to, first things first, no one's undecided. So now it's, for me, what did the debate's point was to get people to motivate to go vote. So I find that the low propensity Trump voters saw that, and they saw a guy get attacked in every direction and not given a fair shot. And they were like motivated to get up now and vote for him, because he has a huge percentage of people who support him who don't ordinarily vote, period. I mean, I talked to a bunch of them since the debate, and that's what they all took away from it, is that this guy got ambushed. He survived it. Now it's our job to go and support him in November. So I think in a weird way, it works out for Trump's favor, because the part of his base that might not have come out and vote will definitely be more motivated after that debate to vote.
Right on. Reason.
Yeah, I would have to agree. This is one of those instances in which it was pretty much all of the people who were asking the questions and Kamala versus him. It was a 3-on-1. There was a wonderful video put out by not Black Conservative Perspective, by Officer Tatum, how I believe it was 6 or 7 different times when he was corrected openly, and that never took place for Kamala. She, quite frankly, this is one of those instances in which we were talking about earlier again, about what personality versus policy, I guess. And in that instance, Trump still has a ton of personality. I'm not going to say that she had any kind of policy that she put out there, because quite frankly, what disturbed me most about this debate is I don't think anyone ever really answered a question. Like, it ended up being, let me rebuttal what the person said before that. And I think Trump did well in the first half. I think Kamala did well in the second half, but also, and I'm going to land it real quick because I know there are more of you guys. Also, if you are a fan of Nova H1 audio earrings, check out what she's wearing and look at what those are. I know she ain't that fucking good. I mean, she's not. Excuse my German.
I mean, she was a prosecutor, though. I mean, so there is something to say about being able to be on the job, right? So being in the courtroom, I think she could turn it off and on. Now, as far as knowing the questions, having an earpiece, that may be a different story. But as far as the way she appeared, as far as her being that good, like I think at least from a presentation perspective, she could actually pull it off. But
I know you're about to go. I know you're about to go to the next person. But if that's the case, sir, why hasn't that happened in 38, 40 days? Why is the only time that she goes, you know what, she's with somebody else, and puppy dog questions.
So I think it goes to, how like you're comfortable on the couch, so you kind of let your guard down. You might laugh a little bit more. You might just kind of be more of your quote unquote self. Right. And I think she's always felt like she's playing on the home turf. Like every interview she does, every interview she does, every time she's in front of the media, every podcast or whatever, she feels like she's at home. It's softball questions. So that's why I think you're seeing when those things come out, she's more cackling. She's more, the person that we see that she is. But that's just my perspective. Let me go to Soldier of Finance here, Professor.
I watched a clip of Kamala Harris back when she was the Attorney General of California. I watched it today, as a matter of fact. She was extremely articulate, extremely relaxed in a clip that I saw, and she made sense with what she was saying. Now, I don't know what has become of that Kamala. She has not been able to display what I saw on that clip since she became vice president, and even when she was in the campaign. Here's the thing, though. Kamala Harris's campaign is asking for a rematch, and having boxed, I'm going to tell you, the victor doesn't ask for a rematch. So they don't feel as though they won that. She's not seeing the bump she thought she would see from it. And I think if you were able to look at her internal polling, what they see, she's far behind. She's far behind Trump.
Dude, I just want to point out, because it's a rigged match where the moderators are doing more of the throwdown than the candidate has to, and you can't land any kill shots, of course you fucking lost. Like, I just want to point, right? Like, everyone here agrees, if you were on that stage and you were Kamala Harris, you'd be dancing on Trump's grave with the backup you got from the moderators. I just, like, a retarded child with a small little brain tumor could win that debate wholehandedly when you have both moderators going in on the candidate. Of course, I'd want another debate. Just saying.
All right, CT, let me get you in here, man.
Lindsay Davis. It just came out that Lindsay Davis is a part of the same sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, that Kamala's a part of. Interesting. We can clearly see that both the moderators, her and David Muir, definitely were in on her corner. They gave her leading questions that favored her. They didn't fact check anything that she said because she lied multiple times. That even the people watching, even on Twitter, were Bill O'Reilly. He was very, very good at calling them out on their BS. I don't know if anybody even noticed the fact that her little miniature podium. Did anybody notice? Like, Kamala had a little, a little mini podium for her.
I saw that. Yeah.
Everything was catered for her. It was absolutely absurd. She lied multiple times, and I will admit she won. She won because of a technicality. The earpiece, obviously, she was being fed information. Obviously, if you really sit back and think about it, right, you could tell it was really rehearsed. And that's why I believe she won. We knew Trump was going to come out with the same old thing that he always comes out with. But she won because imagine having Bill Parcells, Nick Saban, and Bill Belichick as your coach. She was carried to the threshold of victory. Other than that, organically she lost, but as a technicality, she won. So, yeah, that's the way I look at it. Yeah.
And again, in the terms of her campaign, what they wanted to see out of this was a significant bump in her numbers. They're not seeing that. Otherwise, they wouldn't ask for a rematch. They wouldn't need it. This is why Trump is saying that Trump saying, I don't need to get on the stage with you again because I'm good.
I don't know why my camera's not focusing. But I mean, you're right. So, but I will say this, right? Come on, camera. But from so we're in this, kind of the thick of things. We're behind the scenes of popping politics, so we're always kind of looking at media, looking at news stories and things like that. CT, you're kind of constantly on, and you got the Trump hat in your background. Tyrone, you're looking at the financial aspects of things. But when you look at just like, you just take the average person looking at the debate, right? I could see how someone would think Trump was crazy, Trump was lying about a lot of things. And it kind of goes to the point of, how emotional our kind of overall culture is here in the country, because, kind of the emotional nature is like, what does it feel like right now? Right. Without kind of looking at things more objectively, more looking at things. Okay. Just considering, different points of view. I could see how, Trump came across as crazy. But the problem is now, right? You had the sensationalism from the front end of it. Most people don't follow up from that point, right? And even with the follow up, right, talking about like things like with the Haitians out in Ohio, right? You still don't believe it, so you still kind of think Trump is crazy, right? But from following, Trump told more truths than than Kamala ever did. I think I don't think he won the debate. I don't think he lost. But I don't think I think Kamala did show something different than what we normally see, or we've been used to seeing, especially with some of the softball interviews that she's gotten. But it does come down to how does it feel, right? How does it feel? And to me, like I don't know. I really don't know. Any more on the debate? Who I think somebody else had something to jump in.
I just want to say, a lot of conservatives and Republicans, like the Israelites coming out of Egypt. I mean, man, you saw the man part the Red Sea. Damn it! I mean, how much more will it take? Right? Look, he's right about what's going on with immigration. Okay, the citizens of Springfield are saying, "Hey, man, look, I saw this guy pick up roadkill and dress it and take it home as steaks." Okay, so if you're saying he sounds crazy, is because the United States of America is crazy right now. Okay, a lot of crazy things going on. Now we can, assuage our feelings and paper over it with Kamala telling you that what you're seeing and experiencing is actually not what you're seeing and experiencing, or you can recognize it, move forward into it, get over it into better times. And let's not forget, Trump didn't knock out Hillary Clinton in their debates. We're acting like he
way better than that.
Acting like he did so spectacularly against Hillary.
He did way better than this. He was,
by what measure?
The measure is he took every bait. Every bait. They got him to ramble about every wrong thing by design. She said crowd sizes. He talked about
you don't think Trump was more disciplined in this debate than in the debates?
No, I think that had the mics been on, he would have talked.
I think you guys need to go back and watch those debates.
I'm sorry, like there's no way he was disciplined. He literally took every bait in that. I'm voting for the man.
I understand.
But there is no way you can say that guy showed any restraint in his response, because he first focused on the not response to get to the response.
He took the debate about the crowds. If you go back and watch it, he did do that. But I think he also realized what he was doing, because he didn't go on about it as long as I thought.
Okay, I don't disagree. But when you look at Trump in that debate, he got riled up because, I don't know, I think he didn't anticipate that the moderators, I think after the CNN debate with Biden, he was confident, maybe a little overconfident that he manhandled Biden so badly. And I'm just going to walk in here and manhandle. I don't think he was expecting that he was getting the 12-gun salute in the face.
I agree.
And I think that he was off his game. I think that threw him.
I agree with that.
You also have to take into consideration the fact the best part of his debate was his closing statement.
Yes.
I'm sitting here like, bro, you should have. And that seemed like when he was the most focused. I don't remember one time. And again, I'm voting for the guy. I still don't remember one time in which I believe a question that he was asked, even if at the end or not he was fact checked or debunked or whatever, I do not remember him directly answering a question that he was asked without having to say something first.
But I'll agree. Neither did she.
Look, I'm not trying to suggest that you can't be critical of Trump, because I'm very critical of that IVF thing that he came out with. Okay. So I'm not suggesting that. I just, again, think that, Gimpy, you said it earlier. I mean, pretty much the battle lines are drawn. People have pretty much decided what they're going to do.
Look, I am saying this right now, and I believe that this is a baseline for the every day till the election. There are no undecided. That is a lie or a fake or a statistical way to deceive with statistic, right? How to lie with everyone. They are known entities. Everyone, regardless of whether they're going to tell us, have an opinion. They're either Trump or Kamala. Now, the rest of that is how motivated am I to send my mail-in ballot, go to the poll and vote on election. And again, after the people I talked to, and I mean, I talked to the lowest of low propensity voters this week by accident, just happenstance. People I know that are super low propensity that I had to deal with, get in my car, whatever, different stuff. And every single one of them said, wow, that he survived that was a win for them. Like he won because he walked through the fire, and they were like, now that it was inspiring to them. Like, I got to make sure I vote again. And these are people who have never voted before Trump and probably will never vote again after. But an event like that kept them motivated to continue to keep coming out for him. And I think that's a key win for him that no one is really talking about.
Yeah. So I would listen. I would agree with that, because Trump, like what he did to me look like a lion in the debate, right? And I would think, like, if I'm a general or if I'm a commander, and I'm trying to lead my my people to the next place, and this person right here across from me is just telling lie after lie, how would I look, right? Mm-hmm. And my job is right here to defend, not just myself, but the people that I'm representing. So, to me, like, why are we still talking about these past things that we know are lies? So I can understand, like, he's coming across, but he just come across fierce, intense, like a leader, like that's somebody you want to see, go to fight for you. And then, and I think the amount of courage it took to even bring up the Springfield, Ohio thing, like, there's people who call me now, right, with and tell me their stories with city schools, and some of the stuff I'm just like, I don't know if I should say this stuff out loud, right? Because you don't necessarily know, like, the person, you don't know if you can really trust really what they're saying. But to go on the national stage, right, and to stand up for people like that, right, it's the level of courage, right? Even if you're wrong, right? The level of courage it takes to do that, right? To me, Trump was on stage looking like a lion, looking fierce. And yes, when you look at the results and the polls, of course, how skewed they are, it might appear that he didn't win the debate or lose the debate or what have you. But I'll tell you this, that's a man that I will stand beside because of the intensity, because he's going to stand up for just anybody that we share a common value. And the common value to me is making America godly, make America great, make America a place where you can raise and defend your family, making America a place where you can be an entrepreneur, create your own business, create your self-worth, rise up in the economic ladder, rise up in the economic chain. So to me, that's somebody I would stand beside.
I got to be honest with you. I think he came out. The reason I feel he came out unscathed really is because of just a few weeks before, I saw him step into the Black Journalist Convention, okay? And to see what happened there, right? I felt this guy can handle just about anything. That's why I don't really feel that he lost. I just don't, I don't think he lost. I think he could have done more to. No, he couldn't have, because he's fighting against both the people. He's fighting against the people who it really was 3-1.
And also there's something to be said for, I've always said this about Kamala. Hey, look, if she's running for prom queen, she has my vote, right? Miss Congeniality. Okay, cool. But we're talking about someone who's going to have to interact with Xi Jinping, the leaders of Iran, Vladimir Putin. Okay. And I tell you, I'm not confident that she's ready for any of that.
Just her stature itself. I mean, I think Trump is 6'4".
Well,
I think she's.
Listen.
That matters.
Fiorello LaGuardia was short. Churchill wasn't the tallest guy. Napoleon Bonaparte was a little bit less than average. So,
and none of these people you're mentioning are women.
You can convey power. Look, Margaret Thatcher. All right.
Golda Meir.
So, but they know how to convey strength. Okay. And one of the things that allowed them to do that was their knowledge of the fact that they weren't conceived as unserious. Kamala Harris is always laughing. Okay. And look, this is an affect with her. It's real. She knows it. So that's one thing that detracts from anyone being the least bit intimidated by her, which is, I think you need some of that in a president of the United States. Okay. I don't want my president to be thought of as some Nobel laureate. I don't want that. Okay. I want someone who these other leaders go to bed at night thinking, I wonder what he'll really do if I do this. Okay, there is a reason Ukraine was not invaded between 2016 and 2020. Okay?
There's a reason.
Facts.
Man,
I think the laugh is a nervous twitch, quite frankly.
It
I
could be.
I think it's pseudo-bulbar affect. I think it's a mild case of that.
All right, guys. So I we're a little bit over time, but I do want to kind of get to this one last thing, because it was something that kind of came up today. I was actually talking to KJ earlier, kind of about this. But is the Black conservative movement a grift?
Well, if it is, somebody needs to tell me how to make some money off of it. I mean,
the reason I ask, right? Because there's an organization that's going around the country, and they're driving a bus, and they have Trump's picture on one side, and they have "I'm not with her," and they're particularly targeting predominantly Black areas. But then when they get to the areas, at least in the experience that I've had, right, they're not really talking to anybody. It's there. It looks good. It's a photo op. You get some really good donation money to do more quote unquote Black outreach. But like, is that effective? Does it work? Like, or is it just a grift?
I don't think it's a grift. I believe that you're looking at the wrong people. I was out today. You guys know, well, I'm in Maryland. I was out today for a community outreach event, and my wife represents one of the districts, and we're out and we're looking at all of these people, grassroots people that are like, and these are Black people too. Like, I'm not just like everybody. It was a community coming together to say, you know what? We want to make sure that this is the best community, the greatest neighborhood, putting money into it, putting time into it, and all of that. No, it's not just one of those instances in which we are like trying to swindle any. No, it's really the grassroots people, the people who are down in the streets, the people who are doing the work. That if you're talking in the aspect of just like, people who are on a level that they never affect anything that happens around you, if you're talking stuff like that, I don't know about that. But I know that people who are on the ground, people who are doing the work, and there are a lot of us that are. So I would have to say no.
But those people aren't, the photo ops, right? Those people, I'm like, Matthew chapter 6 is like my family verse, right? And it's like when you don't let your left hand, you don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing, right? There are certain groups that are just out there for the photo ops, right? Saying they're for, the Black movement or what have you. And then there are others, right? Just like you mentioned, grassroots, I think that are on the ground. CT, I want you to jump in, right, man? Because, you've been out in this thing for a while, man. Like, what's going on?
No, I don't think that Black conservatives are doing this for a grift. I think that any Black conservatives actually doing it to save the Black community. It's people who have a love for Black people, a love for themselves, man, and they really want to see an end to Black people believing that they are victims. And if money is made and on the way, I'm pretty sure that most people wouldn't mind that. But I really believe that a Candace Owens or Officer Tatum, et cetera, they are really doing it to uplift the Black people, uplift the Black culture. I mean, you got to remember, like, the earliest people who were doing this, they weren't in it for money. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, these people weren't in it for the money. They were actually in it to help save these Blacks in their victim mindset. I mean, think about a Negro like Tyreek Hill. He really needs to listen to Blacks like us, because that Negro, I mean, he's playing the victim now, and he's a multimillionaire, and you just had him on screen. So no, I think that people like me and people like us or you guys, we're here to help these Blacks. And I would do it for free, to be honest with you, because I was doing it essentially for free for a long time. You know, look at this Negro. Look at him.
Yeah, he was so oppressed. Didn't he look very, very
oppressed
oppressed?
in
when
his-
they dragged him out of his, what was that, a Rolls Royce?
$400,000 vehicle.
Mhm.
He's speeding down the street. You know, and no, when people say that, you know, people call me a grifter. I'm like, how am I grifting? I've been doing this. I was doing this when I was poor. I mean, I wasn't really poor, but I was doing this out of college. I was doing this in college. You know.
But all right, so I want to go to Tyrone. But you know, what do you say to it about people who only do it because they're getting like certain monies, right? They're getting essentially effectively paid to go out and do it.
Okay, so Newt Gingrich has been doing that for quite some time. I wouldn't characterize what he's doing as necessarily a grift. There is this pop culture mindset that anything anybody does that brings in revenue is a grift, and there cannot be sincerity attached to what they're doing. I think the best situation to be in is doing something that you're passionate about and also being able to generate revenue from it.
Can I ask you a question? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to ask, I would have to ask this question. Name me the black person that started off. What's up, Crazy Chick Sheena? Name me the black person that started off making a large sum of money by talking about the idiosyncrasies within the black community. Nobody can name one.
Right.
So everybody has started off from a humble position.
And we know what a super grift is. I mean, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. I don't want to hear anything about a conservative grift when you've got these people on the left, these ambulance chasers like Ben Crump. You got Roland Martin. I mean, you've got an army of people who know better, but are okay selling black people. With the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Okay. He's just looking for higher political position. He'll sell blacks out in a heartbeat. He's doing it.
All right, Gimpy, I want to get you in here, man.
Dude, what would I know of black conservatives?
Well, I mean,
dude, it's unique to each one. I mean, Candace Owens is a grifter for her own sake, but is her conservatism a grift? No, she believes what she says. She said she buys it. I mean, is Al Sharpton more a grifter than any grifter on the right? Yeah. Is Jesse Jackson? Yeah, easy. The left grifters far out surpass anything any grift is, but not everyone's honest on both sides. Other than that, man, it's all the people. Chaotic tells the truth. I don't have to agree with him. Doesn't make that he makes money making a grift. Bling makes money off soldiers of finance. Doesn't make him grifting. Makes him a capitalist last time I checked. I'm just saying, like, people like to hate.
Yeah.
They find it very convenient to find a lot of reasons not to listen to you when you tell the truth.
Well,
if I could
go ahead.
If I could quickly acknowledge Couples Light $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. We appreciate you. Thank you.
So look, all right. So I'm just kind of share a personal story. Like to me, it's kind of hard to find decent people from my perspective, right? It's just hard to find sincere, honest, like people, even amongst conservatives. So being in Maryland, being black, being a Republican, right? You kind of like get into this, you get into these circles, and then they kind of want to prop you up, but then they also want to prop you up because you're black, and they also want to give you try to give you things that you I don't know how to explain it, right?
No,
because it's like there is an element of it that is kind of grifty, right? It's like they still want to prop you up because you're a unicorn, right? And for me, I find it hard to find a home because I just I don't just want to hang out with Republicans. I don't want to just hang out with just people. Like I just like just decent people. Are you a decent person? I can ride with you. But just those and this is why my community, like you guys right here, are what we're building at Pop and Politics and Metro Conservative Media. That's that's my family, and I cherish you guys more than what you realize, because I don't know where else to go, right? And I see a lot of other conservatives, like, you know, I do a lot in Baltimore City. You know, we have this lawsuit that we have going on against Baltimore City public schools. You know, do a lot of campaigning for, you know, ballot issues and initiatives. And, you know, it's just like when I share certain things with people that would perceive, I would think should be interested in those things, particularly coming from like you're supporting blacks, like they don't give me the time of day, right? And I'm not a person that just, you know, like I know what I'm talking about. Like I know what I'm talking about. I'm able to share things that I'm, you know, doing. Able to share them, but like when you share them with these particular people that are quote unquote supporting conservative movements, like they don't care about it. So to me, those elements make it more of a grift, because are you really caring about the issues, or do you just want to talk about the issues in front of a camera and then go on about your day and do what you were doing, you know, before, right? Do you want to talk to people on the corner of Penn North, or do you just want to, you know, say you were there for 5 minutes and then go away, right? So that's why I think, you know, some of the perspectives we get from the conservative movement are a grift, and I can understand why people are still kind of leery of it, because they still don't see anybody talking to them. Go ahead, CT.
Dear brother, I was your age. You've never been my age just yet. You will be my age one day,
bro. You are 1 year younger than me.
Yeah, and I used to older, and I used to think like you, bro. I used to think like.
Don't worry, ain't no one ever gonna be Bling's age.
Don't ever get bored. Don't ever get bored, bro. The thing is that you are superior than the liberal black, than the democratic black. It is your duty. It is your duty to be dominant over these idiots. They're retarded, or are retarded for the sake of YouTube. I used to think like you. Oh man, I really wish I could just be around. I get bored being around conservative blacks. I used to be like you, but it's your duty to be dominant over them and to beat them into reasoning and logic. You're not like them. Don't worry about being invited to the little Negro barbecues. I used to be like that. Oh man, I still want to hang around them. No. It is your duty to correct their illogical behavior, even to the point where you have to beat them into submission. Bro, I'm telling you, man. Don't get bored. Look at them as a case study. You know, look at these ignorant blacks as a case study, dear brother. Go ahead.
I've had this conversation with Giovanni before.
Yeah, you got to look at them as a case study. You got to almost beat them. You got to beat the dumb Negroes, man. They're ignorant.
All right, so my black card is about to get revoked. I've still never seen this movie.
Man in the room. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was
the reason why you don't fit in anywhere is you keep thinking you black.
Oh man, I still have not seen this movie.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's not.
Look, you're not missing anything.
It's a black male bashing.
It's a male bashing movie from beginning.
Giovanni,
to
listen.
I
used to want to help out these blacks, but man, they're ignorant, man. They're dumb.
Look, listen, Giovanni, you heard me tell you years ago that, hey man, look, I admire you for your efforts, but you know, if I were you, I'd put my house on the market, move to a better school district, and you know, just call it a day. I mean, because
or run for mayor.
It's really like a plantation, okay? Yeah. When the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, there were slaves who said, hey, I don't want to leave. Okay, I've got everything. He feeds me. I got my shack back here. I mean, I don't want to leave. Okay, so when you're dealing with that, then hey man, I again, I admire your efforts, but I gotta agree with Chaotic on that.
Yeah.
I gotta agree.
Yeah.
No, man. Look, I appreciate the advice, and I hear what I hear what you guys are saying, right? But it kind of goes to the point why I think we started this podcast as well, because it's more than to me, it's more than a podcast. This is one, a place that we're just talking, and we're talking about random stuff, but we're also just building that community. And I understand, like, this now has to be built brick by brick, right? This is we're building something new, something that hasn't been done before, and it's because I respect each one of you guys on this particular podcast because of what you bring to the table, your integrity, your character, and those type of things are what I value the most. And we can agree on topics, whatever, but it's those values, right, that I think are paramount to anything political, anything outside of whatever else we're doing. It's just like, again, just being a decent human being.
Frederick Douglass, baby.
Frederick Douglass, he didn't remain on the plantation. He said, you know what? I'm going to go out there. I'm going to speak. I'm going to write. Okay. I'm going to change minds at a high level. I'm going to approach this from the other end of the perspective. And Giovanni, you are perfectly capable and well equipped to intellectually, challenge the system from that vantage point.
Dude, he just compared you to Frederick Douglass.
Man. I have 6 words, Giovanni, for population you want to work with. A nigga is a terrible thing. That's it. 6 words, man. A nigga. You say it? I mean,
I had the worst, most
it's a terrible thing, man. I would never get bored of being a conservative because I know a nigga is a terrible thing.
Dude, by far now I'm reprieved from calling you white.
Bro,
a nigga is a terrible and that's why I love being around white people and conservative blacks, because I know how dumb a nigga can be. That's a terrible thing. That's a terrible thing, nigga. And don't get me wrong. I
love you, Chaotic.
Sometimes I want to go to the black backyard barbecues, the what they call it, the block parties. But I know a nigga will shoot it up, act a fool, play that ignorant nigga music. I'm telling you, Giovanni, you ain't missing nothing with niggas, boy.
Oh,
a nigga is a terrible thing.
And look, you're saying, they're speaking to people on, let's say, North End, Pennsylvania. Okay. How deep is that going, though? How deep is what you're saying going to hit if the person votes at all? But if it's compared to, hey, I'm just going to give you free shit.
No, but what I'm saying is these people who claim they're out in the community, they go to these places just for the photo op, not necessarily because they care about people or willing to talk to people there. They go there just to say they've been there and then leave. That's kind of like my point. That was the point I was trying to make with the whole conservative grift. And to me, that's disingenuous, right? You really don't care about the community you say you do, right? And to me, that's where it is. Like my heart goes into this, but other people don't.
The other thing is this, guys, and I think we have to start to realize this whole black vote, this whole black community thing as an electoral force, that's over. Okay. You're going to see in 2028, they're already bringing in, look, blacks are already the smallest minority of note. Okay. The Asians, they just go out and work. They don't concern themselves with these sorts of things. But take California, for instance. Okay. You got blacks over there who cannot understand why reparations didn't pass when they are only 5% of the population of a state that never had slaves. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. That's the mountain that you are up against. No, I am not going to jeopardize my seat, okay, and have to explain in a community meeting to whites, Hispanics, and Asians who make up more of the California population than blacks, why we are going further into deficit to give one segment of the population some money when we weren't even a state that endeavored in the grievance. Okay. So that's not very difficult to understand from a logic standpoint. But you would think it's like, quantum physics to the people on the other side of that argument.
Man, I mean, look, I can't explain it. But that's all I got, man. That's all I'm saying. All right, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. Make sure you guys leave a comment. We are going to be starting a mini book club because I want my guys to kind of share books and things that really have been impactful and helpful to them. So as we build this out, right, we're going to build a bit of a book club because, again, this is a place where we provide value, we provide substance, and, again, we're building a community based on, our shared ideals, our shared values. So stay tuned for the book club. But, guys, go ahead and share where everybody can find you. Share. So let's start with Gimpy. Where can people find you, Gimp?
X at Gimpy Death.
X. Reason, where can people find you?
People can find me still on behind the scenes on Pop and Politics.
How do they find you behind the scenes? Like, how do you do that?
Very simple. Go to www.popandpoliticslive.com. Just drop an email in, drop your email link in, and send a message. I'll get to you.
All right. Soldiers.
Soldiers of Finance on YouTube. Check us out.
Right on. And CT.
Chaotic Truth Live.
Right on. All right, guys, make sure you also check out all the other Metro Conservative Media products. We got Pop and Politics. They have an episode coming out tomorrow, but make sure you join the membership, the Freedom Seekers, and join Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, whatever day they have a show. But make sure you join them. Just the guys, again, us right here as well. And then, well, as KJ, the Christian Conservative, make sure you follow her channel over there on YouTube as well. So I don't have our outro loaded up in this StreamYard just yet. So right now we're just gonna end the live. So
wait before you go. Who had Biden wearing a Trump 2024 hat on their bingo card?
Not I.
Me neither.
All right, peace out, guys.